Hi, this is Sean from Fisherman's Processing. So many times people order a sushi cut when they come in, and the very next day I get a phone call from them saying, hey, what do I do with this big chunk of fish? So in this video, we're going to cover what to do with that big chunk of fish. That sushi block, we're going to cut it down. We're going to show you step by step what you can do with it. And I hope you should enjoy this video. So I'm going to begin cutting down this sushi block from Fisherman's Processing. This sinewy line is something I want to use as a measurement for my first cut. I'm going to go just above it and horizontal to the table. Go ahead and cut through the whole sushi block. Right above that line. I'm going to set that cap aside. And what I want to do is bring this nice piece in. I'm going to go about, for me, an inch is about a thumb, and make a cut. Set this strip aside, go back in about an inch, make a cut. You can start making these blocks. A thumb. Keep making these blocks. These are going to come in useful later. And you look for this line where it comes back in. You don't want to get involved in that. So your last cut will be right where that line connects to the loin. There's your saku blocks. We'll come back to this piece later that has that piece of tendon in it, and we'll deal with that. You take your cap. So now I've got some strips, I've got saku blocks. I can get some more saku blocks out of this. Go about an inch or so thick. Horizontal cut to the table. Set the cap aside. You can take that one little end piece off just to square it up. That becomes a strip. Then you got a nice block right there. I'm gonna cut this little end piece off to square it up. And what I'm gonna do is cut, it becomes a strip. Then I'm gonna cut right down the middle, and it gives me two more saku blocks. There they are. All right. Probably could get one more just because this is a big fish, about a 130-pound fish. Nice bluefin tuna. Again, square it up, take those little pieces off, those become what we call strips. We'll talk about the strips later. Take the strips off both sides. And there's a saku block right there. Look at that color on that. This little cap piece, I always love. Just do some nice little slices, make some quick and easy sashimi. It's a very tender meat, the very apex top of the sushi cut. All right, let's talk about the individual pieces. Okay, when we started on the sushi block, I talked about that piece, the fibrous piece right there. That's where I lined up to make my first cut. So what I want to do now to get the meat from that is cut on either side of it. So I'm going to cut on this side of it, and I'm going to cut on this side of it, and I'll get two nice pieces of strip meat. So just go just above it. Cut on the same angle. That's a tough, sinewy piece of tissue that you really don't want to have in your sushi because it'll be tough. So, cut that piece out. That becomes a nice piece of strip. You're going to go underneath it and do the same thing. All right, when you get that piece out, you don't want that piece in there. You can see all the tissue in it. Be very tough to eat. Instead, get this nice piece of screwing up from the other side, which becomes useful for several other items. So there's how you get that. So a good use with that tough piece that you just removed from the sushi block is your spicy tuna. It's pretty easy. You just take a spoon and you just start scraping out the fish from all the tendons. And you can see how it just separates. Comes right off, and that's where you're gonna get your spicy tuna from that. You just pull the tuna right out, and keep the tendons behind. Doesn't take long, and you're in business here with. So that you add that to your maki rolls. This is your spicy tuna. Make sure you get all the tendons out. And just have the tuna left behind. But that's basically what you do. So you just scrape it right off those tendons. It's good using every bit of the fish you can. Practice makes perfect, and I can use some practice, but this is the general idea of how to get your spicy tuna off of that. It's pretty much useless unless you do this. And you get quite a bit off of there, you can see. And you mix that with a little sriracha, you get yourself some spicy tuna. So there's that. So next we have these strip pieces that we got from that sushi block. Those are great for your maki rolls. Just want to make strips out of them. Strips should be about 3 inches long. So you cut these down lengthwise. You go about 3 inches. You go ahead and cut those. These became great fillers for maki rolls. You'd put them right in there with your cucumbers and whatever else you like in your rice, and those go right in there like that, and you just roll them up with your sushi. So that's what you do with your strip. You make all your maki rolls with that. Make a bunch of these filler pieces. Real useful for sushi. The other thing you can do, take some of these strip pieces. If you go about 3/4 of an inch, these are a little big, but get the idea. Looking for about 3/4 of an inch. Now you're starting to get into your poke. So now you're getting poke cubes out of your sushi cut. So now you got your poke going on here. Of course, you want to use FP Gourmet Poke Mix Kit, poke sauce. Mix that easy poke right there. You're ready to go. Right, let's talk about these saku blocks. When it comes to cutting the saku blocks, they're best for like sashimi or nigiri sushi. And you can see the marbling, the lines in it right there. Whenever you cut it, you want to cut against those. So you want to cut it this way, against those lines. So if you want to do some sashimi, pretty easy. You can just do straight cuts straight through it. Simple like that. You get some pretty nice sashimi out of it. And it'll just fall apart in your mouth, just like that. You can see it just coming apart. If you're going to be doing some nigiri, you can also cut this way through those lines. So you can maybe cut a little angle. And you start getting into your pieces that you might put on top of your ball of rice for your nigiri sushi. Just a little angle, but you're still going right through that marbling. He's good to go. You can make yours a little thicker if you want wider pieces. It's up to you. You can cut. These also can be used for sashimi, not just nigiri. You can display them kind of like this. Get a nice little presentation of your sashimi. Like that. So you got a lot of options with these saku blocks. Super easy to come in here with one of these and make your cubes for your poke. Yeah. Real easy, just take one of these, make your poke cubes, get it all lined up like that, come through and just lots of cubes real fast. We'll add those to our other poke cubes because I think I will make some poke tonight. All right, so there's your saku block. Another great use for your saku block is to make seared tuna. Using FP Gourmet's sesame and spice, crust your saku block and cook to your liking. After cooking, simply slice your seared tuna the same way you would slice for sashimi. So I hope you find this video useful. I'm no professional sushi chef. It's just the way I do it at my house. You find the way to do it at your house. Enjoy your fish.